So what's up, guys? What's up? This is a much needed video I've been wanting to make for a few days now, and I've been putting it off, but there's some things that's on my mind that need to be said, and I am going to say it. The Lord been prompting me to deliver some of this information that He's been downloading into me, and without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So everything that's going on in the country right now and is crazy. Like the world and up and went crazy, but it's not crazy. What's going on is you seeing the divide of those that are trying to have power and want to reign over freedom and free will of the people, and want to be tyrannical because they have that wealth, and they want to impose rules and regulations on God's created people all over the world, but mainly we're going to talk about America. That's where we are right now. And they want to impose these rules and regulations, and they want to be God. Let's just put it like that. They want to be in a position of God because resources and materialism and the grabbing of greed has corrupted the souls of these individuals. And you can call it whatever you want: communism, socialism, Marxism. The problem is those ideologies all boil back down to somebody wanting to rule over somebody else, and somebody not wanting to just go sit down somewhere, enjoy the blessings that they got, share those blessings with others. But they got to be the one that comes out and enforces what they think is right. First of all, these folks ain't inquiring of the Lord. That's the second part of the problem. They're inquiring of different type of entities that are spiritual in nature, whether you want to agree with it or believe it or not, is demonic entities and satanic entities that are in rebellion against the rule and regulation of the Lord Jesus Christ, the kingdom and the Father. You don't have to agree today, but one day you will agree. I don't have to have no one tell me what I'm talking about is true, because I know it's true, and everyone's going to know this in the last moment of, I guess I ain't going to say the last moment of existence. You're going to know it's true when you stand before the Father. And this is the real battle that's really going on, which is why you have what's going on behind the scenes, the setting up of the satanic kingdom, like the book of Revelation says. You are seeing the groundwork being laid, and the fight for that groundwork, and the investment that has been made in that groundwork. So there's a lot of things going on along the way in the process that could be kind of confusing, because you got a lot of different avenues and a lot of different bricks that come together, because Satan can't do what God do, so he has to piece things together, and he works long over time to bring about what he needs to bring about, because God also is working against him and holding them back, because what God is trying to redeem a populace for him, a family that love him for who he is and not for what he gives, that love his rule, his regulations, and that aren't dumb enough to try to overthrow God as being created. So that takes time. So God's holding them back a little bit, and they trying to work hard and gain little gain here and there. In the middle, just like that spiritual battle, we're in the middle of this battle. There's so different little mindsets of individuals, our neighbors and our peers. We will grow up and become either on one of the two sides. You're either going to be in the know or not in the know. All right, you're going to be in the know, or you're not going to understand what's going on. You're going to be on one side thinking you're echoing your freedoms, but you're going to be regurgitating Satan's propagandized rhetoric. So now let me give you an example. African Americans, because I'm African American. African Americans think, majority of African Americans see what's going on with the civil rights leaders not attending inaugurations because I said demonic, but that's true. They democratic. I'm sorry, they ain't all demonic. They democratic. Some can be actually just deceived. But let me give you this information, okay? So they democratic. The Democrats aren't talking about they ain't gonna be there, and we should go along with our civil rights leaders, the ones that we call civil rights leaders, because they are civil rights leaders. They are leaders, right? But first of all, I call you into question for these people to even be in a position to be a civil rights leader and have made it this far in this totalitarian governmental system. You must question if they even sold out from the get-go. But before I get in all of that, let's give the foundational groundwork that was done, okay? All right, so communism, Marxism, socialism, these isms, right? They infiltrated free will societies because they want to rule over people. But they have to overthrow free will societies, so they need revolutions to take place. And they want to take the wealth of the individuals and they want to spread it around. They don't create no wealth of their own. They use your wealth to create, if they do create wealth, but they're using other people's property. But anyway, so what did they do to the black community? This is a little example. What did they do? Of course, they prospered off of slavery and some of the things that were heinously done, not just against black people, but white people, the Irish people that was enslaved, and other groups of people. We don't have time to go into all of that, but so we're just gonna color the black side right now. So they infiltrated. They said to themselves, "Okay, these people have been disenfranchised, if that's the right word to use. These people have been pushed down. They're gonna be naturally upset. They ready for revolution because of the plight that they went through. So let's go to them, infiltrate their organizations and their leadership. If not, get them to set up a leadership under our headship, right? So what do? They came with money and they gave these leaders a platform. They gave them financial means. They gave them a name, but they also gave them their rule over them. So these people know where the money came from, okay? So they bought, they own, and they purchased them, and they purchased them to control the rest of us. Not, you know what I'm saying, I'm using a broad brush, but the gist of it is this actually happened. Look up Angela Davis. She talks about Karl Marx and all of these people that we call revolutionists. They so you got to know the civil rights leader, not just the civil rights leader. You got to know the leaders of our past. Even check and vet all the leaders. Figure out all the little organizations that were set up with different little cute little names, and figure out if they had ties to the Communist Party, or if they were getting funding from these tyrannical overthrowers. So they wanted to use our plight to bring about revolution, to overthrowing the government, the American government, which is naturally they're going to want to do because of the continual plight and the push down. So if people aren't aware of this, you're not going to know that the leader that you're listening to is going to be bought. and they're gonna tell you what the person that financed them wants them to say, or they're gonna lose their funding. And if they, go outside it, they might get killed because they start spilling the beans or telling the truth about what happened, or they might have been brainwashed and hoodwinked or whatever. And they didn't use wisdom going in. That's why you need the Lord Jesus Christ to be your head and not let nobody else be your head, and not just be taking money from any old body, because whoever giving you the money, that's the agenda that you're going to end up pushing, okay? So these people took this money, and that's why you see amongst black agendas, liberal agendas. They have to promote, also they tack on their agenda. So all our leaders they're gonna be sympathetic to all these liberal type policies, whether it be LGBTQ, whatever, open immigration, whatever they want, they're involved in. Okay, whatever they're involved in, they're gonna see these leaders also involved in. And I ain't say everything down the line, but most of them are. Or they're gonna be hushed mouthed. Or if they're in opposition to someone that's against the liberal agenda and these Marxist headships, then they're gonna be telling these leaders, you need to speak out against them if they're not doing it, because they've been so sold out for this long anyway. So you need to go ahead and push the agenda we're doing. Or they might tell them they need to speak out against it. How can we come up with a plan to show the black community that we're not with them and this and that, So these leaders they gotta have the brainwashed black community behind them. Not every black person, and I don't know the numbers, because you run across a lot of folks that have been brainwashed. It's really sad. And it's really sad that our leaders in the black community have done this thing. They're not standing up for our rights anymore, and they're out for themselves, and they might do some good things. And I'm saying everything they do is bad, but some of these policies are coming out of a totalitarian plot to rule over us and to leave us eating out of their hands and dependent on them. The same people that are hurting us are the same people that are acting like they're the ones saving us. So the Democratic Party was invaded by communists. That's why you see a lot of black people in communists. They might be senators and congressmen. You don't know if they got the funding from George Soros or these other type of Marxist people, like Barack Obama. He's a Marxist, okay? You look through his history, and you see that he got funding from all kinds of different places, whether it be the Queen of England, I don't know for sure what that, but from the Muslims. He got his hand in all kind of pots. You know what I'm saying? Marxists, Muslims. The Muslims' agenda gonna go to. They're using the Muslims too. It goes hand in hand with their agenda. If they didn't even the Catholics, man. I mean, come on now. So you got this going on. So you got people. You going along with people. You don't know where they come from, because you have to know the research behind them and the foundations behind people. Just because they got the same tone of skin of you and they act like they speak for your interests, doesn't mean they speak for your interests. Okay. A lot of them are sellouts. So I mean, you got this really going on, and it's sad to say, because I think anybody worth their weight, grain of salt, anybody can control any leader, they try to kill. So we got to question the ones that are alive, the ones that are being used, the ones whose campaigns have been funded to even be in a position of power to boycott something. So that's one example of how this is done, right? This is how you invade. This is how you then you got the educational system being trained people overall to have a renewed mindset, anti-God mindset, anti-value. So trying to get into the mind of these people, trying to teach them something totally different, something totally new, and maybe it's too much information. They can't even take it in. But it has to be done because what's the alternative? They'll be rooting for the very thing that they're going to regret in the end. Because in the end, the whole agenda is going to come out. That they want to decrease the population. They can't control everybody. They are not God. They have to eliminate dissent. They are not God. God allows dissent. He allows free will to an extent for a certain time period. All right? They are not God. They cannot do what God can do. They cannot control what God can control. They work in overtime trying to control the weather, this and that, and they controlling God's creation, whatever, every form of God's creation. They're using technology and they're using information from different realms of entities to act like, to show you how cool and awesome they are and how advanced they are. But they're just people, all right? And we as a people have to be smart. We have to know what's going on, and you have to do your homework. You can't just dumbly go along with an agenda. So you're talking about, Donald Trump, right? And which he has also got to be watched. I don't care what nobody says. If they control Donald Trump, it'll just be them giving you another. That'll just be them giving you, playing with your emotions again. If they really control him, it's the same thing. They take you so far, then they give you an antidote to keep you from revolting. And whether they control him or don't control him or not, I don't know. I hope they don't, but I'm not going to be sitting around and be so easily duped. My leader is Jesus Christ, whether I be fully obedient to him or not. He's the one that has all wisdom, all counsel, and all knowledge. So if I'm going to be listening to anybody, I'm going to be listening to him. I'm going to be trying to do my best to get close to him. That way he'll help you see if Donald Trump is even somebody you can trust or can't trust. And all in all, he's still a man. All right? So what do they want to do? They want to set all these policies in place. Maybe Donald Trump, they said Donald Trump can overturn all of these policies Obama's doing at the last minute that are so horrific for the freedom of mankind. Like, and if you ain't seen it by now, somebody needs to slap you upside your head, or you just don't know. So, but what if he never take office? Them policies stay in place, baby. And you get more liberal tyranny. And I don't know what's going to happen after that. But I know in the end, God wins. You see? And do you feel me? Because why do I know that? Because he told you in advance in his book, the book of Revelations and all throughout the Bible, God win, baby. He'll put an end to tyranny. Put your hope and trust in him.